my channel. It's Nate Bookish ASMR. I hope that you're having a good night, morning, or whatever time it happens to be. Tonight we are going to be reading posts from the subreddit Am I the A-hole? First up, we have Am I the a-hole for telling my dad he's the one who gave me the ultimatum, so he needs to deal with the consequences? My mom died when I, 17 male, was 5. My dad remarried when I was 8 and made a blended family with his wife and her 2 kids. Then they had 2 kids together, so I have step and half siblings. My mom's family were a big part of my life for the first 6 years, and then my dad and them fought because my dad had met his wife by then, and he didn't like their reaction to the news. Essentially, he wanted to invite them over for my grandparents' yearly family barbecue, and my grandparents didn't want to include them. They told him they couldn't accept my mom's replacement. He got mad at them for feeling that's what he was doing, and told them they could forget about seeing either of us again. He tried to keep me from them, but they filed for grandparents' rights, and Dad's lawyer said they'd win, so he said I could see them once every 3 months for 4 hours. It was way less than I was used to, but it didn't stop me being close to them. He invited them to his wedding, and they didn't come. It pissed him off more, and then he got super weird about it, and he suddenly started demanding invites again for his wife's kids when I was invited, and then when my half-siblings were born, he was including them in the attempt to force my family's hands. But they never invited them. They did ask me if I wanted them there, and I said not really, so they didn't change their mind. My dad always complained about them whenever my visits would come around. He really hated that I went, and my step and half-siblings couldn't. He tried to tell me I should advocate for them all to be included. I never replied to him because it was easier not to. Once I turned 17, he got worse with that stuff, and he'd complained that I was calling and texting them, and that I kept in touch more than once every 3 months. He'd tell me they hate my siblings, that he didn't want us to have a family. I told him that didn't upset me or make me mad, and it didn't change that I wanted to see them. The day I went back to school, senior year, my dad told me since I was graduating in May, I'd be 18. He needed to make it clear that I will need to choose, because I can't keep spending time with people who refuse to include most of my family, and he told me I'll have to choose my family or them. I told him the them were my family and I'd choose them. He didn't expect the answer. He got pissed and told me I should always choose siblings over extended family. Then he acted like I hadn't given my answer because he told me when he and his wife throw me the graduation party that I won't be allowed to invite my mom's family. I told him I told him he didn't need to throw me one because they would, and I'd made it clear my choice will be them. Dad told me that isn't how it works. I told him it is because he gave the ultimatum and he needs to live with the consequences. He accused me of twisting his words and disrespecting him by throwing it in his face. Am I the a-hole? This has the not the a-hole badge. Most of the comments are in support of the OP, but I think it's not is super cut and dry. I mean, obviously his father had no right to insist that his first wife's family invite his new children over. that doesn't make any sense. But the resentment stems from them really resenting that he moved on. It doesn't sound like they moved on like super quick or anything. So I don't know that that's fair. I mean, is he meant to never have a family or, more family because his wife passed? So, I don't know. I think that nobody is really the a-hole here. I feel compassion for everybody involved. Okay, story number 2. Am I the a-hole for accidentally ruining my friend's kids' safe food? So earlier today we were at a mutual friend's kid's birthday party with all our kids. Standard birthday party, barbecue food, hot dogs, and hamburgers. I was helping the hosts on the barbecue and slinging dogs and burgers to all the kids and adults. One of the kids at the party asked if we had any bologna. I told him no bologna, only hot dogs and hamburgers, and jokingly said, but hot dogs and bologna are basically the same meat, just in a different form. The kid didn't take either, grabbed some chips and went off and did their thing with the other kids. About 2 hours after the party, I got a text from the kid's dad, which I found a bit odd. We went to school from kindergarten to graduating university, but not let's go do something this weekend kind of friends. In the text, he is losing his mind that I ruined the one food they could rely on him eating, bologna, because I said it was the same meat as hot dogs, and explained that their son is a very picky eater. I generally feel bad because I know how hard it can be to feed a kid when they don't want anything you cook, but I had no idea how deep it ran with their son. The host texting me asking if the other friend reached out and said that I did nothing wrong and that it was being blown out of proportion, and if the kid had such a good aversion, it should be such a food aversion, it should have been brought up beforehand by the parents, but I can't help feeling like a total jerk. Am I the a-hole? This one has the not the a-hole badge, and also definitely the, in my opinion, not the a-hole. I think if you were the parents of a child who will eat just like one type of food, then you should probably bring that food anywhere you go. And then, and if it's such a big concern, probably warn other adults around. I mean, I know I think it's called like ARFID. I know there are some, very serious, it's like more extreme than just being a picky eater. And there are like serious medical like concerns about it, malnutrition and stuff like that. But that's not the other adult's responsibility. So, yeah, not the a-hole. Story number 3. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my brother's fiance wear my late mother's wedding dress? I, 32F, lost my mom 4 years ago. It was devastating, and I inherited a lot of her things, including her wedding dress. My mom and I were incredibly close, and she always talked about how much she wanted me to wear her dress when I got married. I'm not married yet, but I've been saving the dress for my special day. My brother, 29 male, is getting married next year, and his fiancée, 28 female, recently asked if she could wear my mom's wedding dress. She said it would mean a lot to her because she never got to meet my mom, and she wants to feel connected to her on the big day. I understand that it's a sweet gesture, but I don't feel comfortable with her wearing something that's so sentimental to me, especially since my mom always wanted me to wear it. When I told her I wasn't okay with it, she got upset and said I was being selfish. Now my brother is upset with me too, saying it's just a dress and that I'm ruining their wedding over something that's not a big deal. I offered to help her find a similar dress or even incorporate a piece of my mom's dress into her gown, but she refused. Our family is now divided, with some saying I'm in the right and others saying I should let it go for the sake of family harmony. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let her wear the dress? This one also has the not an a-hole badge. I agree. I think that obviously this person is well within their rights to refuse to let somebody else wear their mother's wedding dress. It's, ultimately it's now their dress. They can share it or not share it if they'd like. I do think that just letting her wear the dress, it makes sense why you wouldn't want that, and I think that offering to let her use part of the dress or something like that, I think that was a really good compromise, and since the future sister-in-law didn't want to do it, I think that's kind of on her, but I think that's basically what I think you should. I appreciated the willingness to try to appease this woman, but it seems like it didn't work. Okay, here's our next Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for not donating old toys to my ex's children? I, 34 female, have 2 kids with my ex, 13 and 12. Our divorce happened 6 years ago. He's married again and has additional children. We are not on good terms. We communicate via app about our kids, and that's the only contact we should have and that I respond to. Unless it's an emergency, and then we can text call if needed. The reason for the bad blood is he cheated on me with the woman he's now married to, and then during our divorce, she accused me of breaking into their house and stealing from them. Their house was broken into, but his wife said it had to be me. She even started hinting about it online and telling other people. I didn't do it, and it was proven. Police even caught the person who did it. But my ex and her still tried to use that as a reason for him to get full custody of our kids. It didn't work, but they still tried. So we're not on good terms, and that's not something I will ever change. It's a struggle to be civil, but I do it for the kids' sake. I hate the 2 of them, though, and think they're both crappy people. Last year, they had a micro-preemie, which is their 3rd child together. She also had a child with someone else. After the birth of their micro-preemie, they started struggling with money and felt bad for their other children who live with them full-time because they had to make a lot of changes. My kids had a little, but not really because they still had me. Oh, my kids had to, have changes a little, but not really because they still had me. Recently, the kids and I did a clear out, and I donated a bunch of their old toys to a Goodwill nearby. My ex saw me with the donation, and he was mad that I donated them to a store versus giving them to his family. He confronted me in person about this. He told me I have to know they were looking for help with toys and stuff, and I know that what they've been through. He asked how I could spite his children like that. He told me they'd love to get their older siblings old toys. He confronted me a second time because he found out our eldest gave a couple of toys to a friend's younger sibling. I knew about it, but didn't confirm that to him. He still guessed, and again, in a face-to-face confrontation, he called me out for not donating them to him and letting them be donated elsewhere. Am I the a-hole? This is not the a-hole badge. I agree. I think it would have been nice to give them to him, but if you are on bad terms with somebody, you're not obligated to extend an olive branch in that way. So, obviously, you are not the a-hole here. Okay, next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom she needs help because I deserve a better mom? My parents are divorced. I, 15 female, don't remember them being together. I was like 2 when their divorce was finalized. There's a lot of heavy history. My parents were widowed when they met. I had 2 half-brothers. Mom had a son, Shane, and Dad had a son, Riley. They were 8 when my parents met, and 10-ish when my parents married. My half-brothers did not like each other. It was bad. They were toxic to each other and did not want to be related through marriage or anything. Apparently the house was like a war zone, and they'd wish each other dead, call each other names, and they tried to break my parents' marriage up multiple times. I've heard stories about this time, and nobody thought my parents handled it well, but it was clear they wanted to be together more than anything at that point. The boys were 14 when I was born, and when I was 7 months old, Shane died. He'd been in a car crash. My parents were devastated. Riley wasn't. He did his best to support my dad. Neither of my brothers liked their step-parent or bonded with them, so Riley wouldn't really offer much help to my mom. But Dad let him spend time at his friends' houses because he knew it bothered Mom that Riley was so unaffected by Shane's death. The day of the funeral, my mom got so mad at Riley for not showing any grief or sadness, and they started fighting. She said it was like he didn't care, and even though he didn't say it, he didn't care. He hadn't loved Shane or cared about him. By the end of the night, Mom had started pressing Riley to grieve again. She said he'd lost his brother, and Riley replied that he hadn't lost anyone. It was basically the end of my parents' marriage. My mom hated Riley for still feeling that way, for not caring for real. Dad wasn't going to give up Riley, though, so my parents divorced, and it was apparently very messy and very emotional. My mom still hasn't found any healthy coping with it all. She's bitter. She hates Riley. She hates that Riley and I have a decent relationship. She hates that I know Riley, but not Shane. She guilt trips me for talking to Riley when he's so okay with Shane being dead, or for accepting gifts from him. When I don't make or buy something for Shane on his birthday. Anytime she sees Riley, she glares at him. I've even heard her growl when he's around. She's angry with Dad as well. The way she puts so much on me sucks, and I don't have a great relationship with her because of it. Sometimes I feel like she punishes me because I was too young to remember Shane with her. A couple of nights ago, I told my mom I think she needs help because she's let the bitterness and grief she feels get in the way of her life, and in the way of being a good mom to me. I told her I deserve a better mom. She got this weird look on her face, and she slammed a door that night. And she was like that until I went to my dad's last night. Before I left, she called me cruel. So, am I the a-hole? So, obviously, this is a child, and their perspective is that of a child. Obviously, their mom is not being a good mother to them right now, but also, she's experiencing some really complex grief. So, the mom does need to get help so she can be a better mom. I think ultimately this teen is correct, but yeah, it's a little cruel to say it that way. It probably could have been said sooner and also in a softer, kinder way, but maybe she tried and maybe it didn't work. But either way, no, this teenager is definitely not the a-hole. Okay, next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay the bride back for professional makeup? My friend since high school invited me to be a bridesmaid at her wedding. On the group chat with the bridesmaids, she confirmed we could get our makeup done with a professional makeup artist for around $70 to $80, or we could do it ourselves. I confirmed I would be doing it myself, and only 2 of the 6 bridesmaids agreed to professional makeup. I have a small makeup collection, but very curated. I do my makeup every time I go into work, so 2 to 3 times a week as I work hybrid. I did my makeup for other events such as weddings and fancy holiday parties, and the photos always turn out good. But when I went to the house of the bride to get ready, she made me open my makeup bag so she could inspect it. I showed her, and she said there wasn't enough products in there, and they looked like used, so I didn't have what I needed to do what she wanted. I said I do what she was looking for every day was a soft matte face with neutral lipstick and a shiny lid look. I showed her a photo of my daily makeup that I wear to work and said I brought an eyeshadow pot that would add as a topper and get me to the exact look she wanted. She told me she had all the girls that were doing their own makeup buy all new makeup, and I hadn't complied. She had on the group chat said not to use old makeup and to get new stuff, but I took that to mean not to use makeup that wouldn't work and not that she required brand new stuff for everything. None of my makeup was old, and I know how it performed. The formulas were still good. I insisted they were fine, and she began to raise her voice, saying it was her wedding and I was ruining it by not trying to look good on camera. I told her I didn't want to pay the extra cost for makeup I could do myself, and she didn't say anything, just asked the makeup artist if they could fit me in last minute, and they agreed. I saw the other girls doing makeup, and they had huge makeup bags, and I had a small one, but I couldn't believe it meant that they were using all the products. The makeup looked exactly like what I could do to myself, and the makeup artist even used the eyeshadow pot I brought. I thought because I pointed out that I didn't want to pay for the cost, and she didn't say anything she was going to pay for it. But then I got a Venmo request for payment of the professional makeup. I called the bride and told her I didn't agree to it, and she got mad and argued that I got it done. The makeup was on my face, so I had to pay her back. I told her I could have done the exact look by myself, and she told me I had old makeup with ratchety brains, which made her have no confidence they would look good. I'm shocked because at least half of my makeup is from Sephora, and yes, I also use NYX and Essence, but they work just fine. I hung up and have been ignoring the Venmo reminders, but my boyfriend thinks I should pay to keep the friendship. Again, this is one of those, obviously you're not the a-hole, but I would not pay it, because I think your friendship basically over anyways. pay it or not. I mean, if you want her to, like, leave you alone, or if you have mutual friends that are siding with her, you could pay it to, like, keep the peace. But this does not sound like somebody you would want to stay friends with, in my opinion. Am I the a-hole for not giving my dad a loan so he can pay his mortgage? My dad has repeatedly given money to family members and is taken advantage of. He gave my cousin a loan of $5,000 and my cousin hasn't paid him back. I have repeatedly told my dad to stop giving people money, and I'm not helping you if you run out. My dad has reached that point. A few years ago, he refinanced his home to send my brother to rehab and pay for lawyer fees. My brother ended up in prison anyways. Now my dad cannot pay the mortgage payments because of the loan he gave my cousin 2 months ago, and now my dad is 2 months behind on his mortgage and off work because he was injured doing something at my sister's house. I am the only stable employed person in my family. I know now that my dad has injured his back, but in this economy anything can happen. I have told my dad this. I cannot help him with his mortgage at the expense of my own wife and family financial security. My dad said he's going on 3 months behind his mortgage and asking me for a loan. I told him with him not working possibly for the next 8 weeks, I can't swing that and try to feed my family. My dad tried to give me advice on how to live for thrifty until he could pay me back. I told him I'm not you and I'm not taking food out of my kid's mouth to play family hero. I told him to ask my sister or my cousin to pay him back. Okay, so I think obviously this person, well, I guess not obviously. There could be something said for like helping out family and stuff, but it does not make you an a-hole because you won't put your family at risk to help other people. So yeah, definitely not the a-hole. Okay. Am I the a-hole for getting a babysitter because my mom was keeping her home? I'm a single mom with a 4-year-old daughter, Anna. Anna and I live with my mom. We both work and Anna goes to a daycare full-time. Daycare would be about half of my income, so I get a subsidy that covers $1,400 out of her $2,000 tuition. The only condition of the subsidy is that she actually has to show up. If she misses too many days, I lose the subsidy. I go to work at 7:30 and daycare opens at 8, so my mom would have to be the one to take her. Anna's main teacher is a 20 to 21-year-old girl. When I've talked to her, she's always been very animated and energetic. She's great with the kids. Anna always comes home saying the teacher brought stickers and brought juice, she brought bubbles, and she did face painting, etc., and always has fun crafts that she did with her teacher. This teacher is her favorite person in the world right now, and Anna often runs away from my mom to jump on this teacher in the mornings and hides when my mom picks her up because she doesn't want to leave this teacher. My mom started to get jealous that Anna likes the teacher better than her, so she started keeping her home from daycare on her days off when she only has 1 to 2 easy clients. She cleans houses. I found out Anna missed 5 days over the past 3 weeks. I asked my mom about it, and she told me she wanted Anna to spend more time with family instead of with teachers. I told my mom Anna needs to be in daycare unless she is sick, or I will lose the subsidy. She was arguing that if Anna needs to be in daycare, she should be in one with more family values and not some rich white girl trying to save poor kids. The teacher is a girl from a well-off family marrying into a well-off family, and the daycare isn't in the most well-off neighborhood. She has bins full of clothes for the kids, gave everyone a water bottle with their name on it, has a much nicer classroom than the other teachers, and drives a car worth more than my mom and I combined would make in a year. She's setting up a field trip to the local airports so the kids can look at, so that her fiance can talk to the kids about flying planes and so they can look at the jet. I told her I wouldn't. This is the best daycare, and that takes this subsidy, and I won't be moving her just because she is jealous. She was still insisting on Anna being either with a family or being in a more family-based daycare, so I got her a babysitter. I drop her off to my neighbor at 7:30 when I leave her work, and she drops Anna off at school at 8:15 on her way to take her kids to school. She only charges me $10 a day, and I don't love the breakfast that she gives Anna, but I know she's going to daycare and I won't lose the subsidy. Now my mom is mad that I'm keeping Anna away from her. Am I the a-hole for sending Anna to a babysitter in the mornings because my mom wasn't taking Anna to daycare? No, you're not the a-hole. I do feel like you might be able to communicate this better with your mom. Sounds like she's being pretty difficult about this, but it seems so unreasonable to try to, like, get you to lose daycare coverage. Like, that seems so unreasonable that I wonder if the communication has been sufficient. Because, yeah, that's wild to, like, actively try to sabotage the child care. So then what's the plan, you know? But yeah, not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for telling my best friend she should call off her wedding? I, 27F, have a best friend, Daisy, 27F, who is getting married in about a month and a half to Max, 29M. They have been together for 3 years and are really perfect together. I was super supportive of their wedding until recently. About a week ago, Daisy had her bachelorette party. She didn't want to do anything crazy, so just the closest girlfriends went to a small vineyard for a nice dinner, and it was during this dinner that she dropped the bomb. She made a big show of pouring everyone a glass of the house red except for herself, and took a huge sip of her water. She was smiling at us as if we were already in on the joke, but we weren't. But then, slowly, realization dawned, and she confirmed she was pregnant, 2 months pregnant, to be exact. We were all happy for her, congratulating her, hugging, etc. Then somebody made one of those jokes about them having to get married just because she's pregnant, and she got all mischievous again. She then revealed that Max doesn't know, and that this is going to be a surprise. The reaction to this was mostly positive, which dumbfounded me. Max and Daisy have always wanted kids. I even know they have explicitly talked about it before deciding to get married, which is definitely the right thing to do. However, just because 2 people want kids doesn't mean one person can just make the decision of when is the right time, and that's exactly what I feel like Daisy is doing. I don't think you should marry someone when you're keeping something that massive secret. I have no idea how she managed to keep it secret for 2 months anyways, but according to her, they've been so busy with the wedding planning it was easy to hide. And anything weird happening, like her vomiting, she just attributed to stress. I talked to Daisy after the party. I told her what I thought, and that I was just trying to look out for her, and that if it was the other way around, I would want her to do the same for me. She got really quiet while I was talking, and afterwards told me that she didn't appreciate me butting in on their marriage, and that it was her decision. I pointed out that it shouldn't be just her decision, that she was majorly affecting Max's life too, without even including him in on the conversation, and that she wouldn't go through with the wedding. No, she shouldn't go through with the wedding if she was insistent on keeping him in the dark. This made her angry, and she told me to leave and not to contact her. Since then, I've gotten some messages from our friends who were at the party, so I guess she told them. A couple of them agree with me, but most of them are on her side and are calling me an a-hole for ruining what's supposed to be the most exciting time in Daisy's life, and what gives me the right, etc. I don't regret speaking up, but I'm worried that I might have ruined our friendship, and I'm not even sure I'll still be allowed to come to the wedding. Did I overstep? Okay, so this one is funny. I think that of all of them, this is like, yeah, you're the a-hole. Like, they specifically want kids. What kind of relationship do you expect? That if she's pregnant, they want to have kids, she's pregnant, and that means that he's not going to want to marry her? If you think that her fiance is the kind of person who's going to be like, oh no, now that you're pregnant, I'm not going to have a kid with you, that's just a silly thing to think, I think. I don't know. I think that is a really, like, a fake concern. There's something else going on, or, like, this person's just stupid. I don't know. Yeah, I don't love that one. So yeah, you, in my opinion, are the a-hole. Okay, that's it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please like it and subscribe so that I know you want to see more videos like this. But for now, have a good night.